Hey everybody, this is Francine. This is going to be a quick little tutorial on how I make my leaf molds for my precious metal clay. I decided to do a video. I think it'd be a lot easier than looking at pictures and trying to figure out how I did things in between steps. So I'm just going to run over the things that you're going to need to do it this way. Now this is the only way that I've done it, and it's just kind of trial and error, and this is how and I think I got good results. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. To start off, you're going to need the mold making material, which I went and bought. I looked at a bunch of stuff, and I actually tried to make molds using Sculpey regular modeling clay, or whatever they call it. That didn't work because after I baked it, it became brittle and it broke. And then I tried their Primo, which that was a little better. It actually, you know, it bent a little bit, it had a little bit of flex to it, but still wasn't as soft as I needed it to be. So hunting around, I actually found that Sculpey makes a molding clay. All right, and this is it right here. I don't have the packaging, I threw it out, but I bought mine on Amazon, and I just checked the price, and it's $7.94 for 8 ounces. And you can make a lot of molds with this. So here I have some. You got to break it off. It seems really hard at first, but as soon as you start working it, it gets soft. I think like with any clay. Now, whatever you do, don't think like this is your precious metal clay and spray oil all everything to make it not stick, because if you do that, the stuff is just going to turn into a slimy mess on you. You want to just work on the surface that you have. Don't oil it, don't do nothing. If anything, you might need to add powder if yours is too soft. You want to use cornstarch powder. So let me go over the stuff that you need. I'm using these thickness guides that I got from, I think, Cool Tools. Yeah, I'm using the 6 and the 8. So together that makes like 14, because you want a little bit of thickness to your mold. You don't want it too thick because you want to make as many molds as you can out of what you have. So I got that. I got the clay. Get yourself some wax paper. All right. And if you plan on making a whole bunch of molds, go ahead and cut yourself a whole bunch of little squares like this. I got 2 of them ready to go. I'm just making one. So for each one, I'm basically going to be using 2 sheets, and you'll see why. You're going to need your leaf, of course. This is the motherwort leaf. Trying to get it to focus. It has wonderful detail on it. That's the front, and this is the back side that you're going to make the mold impression with. As you can see, it's got like wonderful veining. And if you saw the leaf pendant that I made, it really kind of looks like a maple leaf. It's just beautiful. And as you can see, the way the stem comes out, if you were following that one post in that Facebook group, I ended up snipping off my stem because it was causing problems in my mold. I'm going to quick show you what I was talking about. On the first one that I did. See, this was my leaf impression right here, but as you can see, since the stem like protrudes backward, it went really, really deep into the mold. And then from there you have to make, this is like a negative impression, and then you have to make a positive impression. And the positive impression, what the heck is it? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. This one right here. As you can see, that stem ends up looking pretty wonky. I didn't really like it, and I even trimmed it up with my side cutters and stuff like that, trying to get it to not protrude so much. Okay, well anyway, let's get on to it, right? So I'm going to start out by just make a ball with your clay. Now, I'm just going to take this wax paper, set it underneath, and then put another piece of wax paper. And this is just an acrylic block for stamping. Just take it and press it down like that, just to smush it out. And the wax paper is basically to just ease of use. It's not going to let the modeling clay or whatever, this molding clay, kind of like stick to everything. Now I like using these thickness guides because your mold is going to be completely even, like the thickness is going to be even. And this is important especially for the silver clay because, as you know, you don't want to waste any clay by having parts of your you know, your design thicker than other parts and you're wasting clay. Alright, so there we go. I got it like that. And now I'm going to show you what happens. I'm actually going to zoom in when I do this part. Let me see. When I'm pressing the leaf down into there, there's parts of the leaf that kind of overlap, and you're going to see that I basically use my fingers for most of this. Just through trial and error, I found that it's the best way to capture the impression. See where the leaf kind of splits right there? I'm going to line that up the best that I can right next to this edge, so it actually looks like it's one solid leaf, kind of like a maple leaf really. And there's another split. Let me see, let me rotate it. There's another split right here. Is there? Oh no, there's not, sorry. I'm kind of going fast. You're going to want to take your time. Just press each part into it. And then, as you can see, when you get to this leaf stem, the stem is underneath, right? So you're trying to like fold your pieces over, press the stem in. Just doing this quick. Alright, now if I were to pull this off, you can see, I don't know, can you see that? And I didn't even press really that hard, but the stem goes in way, way deeper. And that's, as far as using the metal clay, that's going to use a lot of your clay just in that one part. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm so new to this too, but I just liked it better using using just the leaf without the stem, because I figured if I wanted to add the stem, well, I could use like a wire of any thickness that I wanted to press it into the mold to make my design, right? So let me start over. Let me set this down. Let me zoom back out a little bit. I mean, I made some with the stem and some without. I think it's going to be your preference, but I just liked it better without for this particular leaf. And someone had asked, well, why don't you just, you know, kind of like trim the stem in half? And I think that would work with some leaves, but this one here, it's so delicate that if you were to try to do anything with it, like if I put my fingernail in, it's just very watery, and there's no way that I'd be able to like thin that down at all without ruining the stem. So I'm actually just going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to cut it right there. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to set that on there. I'm going to press it down in like that. Take your time when you do this part. I mean, I'm just rushing because I don't want the video to be so long. I do use this roller just to flatten everything out. I keep the wax paper in between, but do make sure you go in there and you've pressed it. I mean, all the pieces down to make sure you get all the veining in there. Now here's the tricky part. Now you got to go in there. Let me grab my pick. Find a spot where you're not going to ruin your mold and lift up part of the leaf. Now, these leaves, this particular one, this is like a one-use leaf because it's going to start, I just pricked my mold as you can see, but this is just for demonstration. This leaf is going to break and fall apart as you're taking it off. And I just like the way that leaf looks better without the stem. I'm going to pick this up so you can see it better. And it makes like a perfect impression of that leaf. The great thing about this molding material is it doesn't shrink at all. So this is exactly how it's going to turn out when you bake it. When you bake it, if you play with polymer clay, and you may bake your polymer clay for longer than what the instructions recommend because you're going to get a stronger, don't do that with this. I actually did a test and I tested it at, the instructions say 20 minutes at 275, and that's really all that it needs. Any longer, the mold actually just gets darker, and I didn't really see a loss of quality so much, but it really had no benefits to baking it longer than what it said, unlike regular polymer clay. So you just bake it, bake it right on this sheet. I put mine on a cookie sheet, and I had a piece of thick, like not poster board, like construction paper, a couple sheets of construction paper or cardstock, that's what I'm trying to think of, cardstock underneath it. And then I tented it with a piece of foil to keep, you know, because I don't want it getting singed or anything or getting too hot in some areas. And I baked it for 20 minutes, take it out, and as you can see, these molds, they're completely flexible. All right, once you're done baking this, you're going to have something like this. I trimmed off all the excess around my mold because I was just trying to make my stuff go as far as possible. I wanted to get as many molds as possible. But now that you have this, you're going to have to do another impression, because if you make your pendant out of this one here, you're going to have an embossed leaf. You're not going to have a leaf that has the veining going in, where if you were to patina, all the lines would, you know, become dark and it looks like, you know, what you would typically see. So we'd have to do, now you have to take more clay, roll it out the same way, and then next you're going to have to press it into your original mold. So now you're making like a negative and a positive, which is kind of cool because now, see, look at that. I just did that by hand. How beautiful that comes out. And I'm telling you, when you bake it, that's exactly how it comes out. You're not losing anything. So now this is like your leaf in perfect preservation. You can press this into your metal clay, and of course, like once you start working with your clay, you know, you can lube these up with your oils, like your Cool Slip, your olive oil, whatever you use, so your clay doesn't stick to it. And I think they're great. It worked really good for me. So I hope you like that. I mean, this is how I did it, and if anyone else is using this material too and they got tips, please let me know. I literally made tons and tons of leaf molds. I spent probably a whole week just doing molds. I did a couple of different Jacob's ladders, because my Jacob's ladder was just coming up out of the ground, so I had all these little baby stems sticking out, and I did negative and positive impressions. I haven't made anything with it yet, but I can't wait to. Yeah, that's it. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.